Well, hello there, stamping friends. This is Traci Raether from Plum Crazy Stamping at a little bit different time this week. It is Tuesday, January 20th at 11 a.m. And I am doing this broadcast early this week because tomorrow I'll be traveling to Stamp Camp. We're going to be getting some snow here in Wisconsin. So trying to make sure I can drive in the middle of the day, which is usually when I do my broadcast. So thank you for, hopefully you'll join me early. And if not, this video will be waiting for you tomorrow. So with that being said, I don't know about you, but here in Wisconsin, it is well below zero and it's supposed to be getting colder. So I thought that it was time to do something a little happy and that made me feel warm from the heart. And so I decided to start my Valentine's making today. And as you're joining me, please sign in the comments. Let me know your name and where you're watching from. And if you are on YouTube, please make sure that you're signed into your YouTube or Google account. Those are both the same thing. And then you can use the comments there also to sign in. And I can't wait to share this card with you. It is so cute. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll put the camera here on the desktop so we can get started. So let's do that. All right, there we go. All right, so here's the stamp set. And let me think, I'm not sure if it was in the catalog or online exclusives. I think it was in the new mini catalog. It's called Valentine Kisses. It is a bundle, which means that you can get the stamp set and a die set for a 10% discount when you buy them together, which is what I did. There is some beautiful Valentine's paper in the catalog as well, but I decided that I was going to go with purple. So I'm so happy to show we're using Highland Heather today. So as I'm pulling that out, you know what? I didn't score this. Let me go ahead and get this scored. So we're ready to make our card. So I'm going to put this at 4 1/4 inches for the scoring. And this is just a regular A2, half of a regular piece of cardstock by 5 1/2, and then the scoring's at 4 1/4. So let me set that aside. So as I was planning this card, first thing I decided, have to do purple. And then I thought, what kind of background am I going to want for this card? With these adorable bears, I think they are, just so cute, so darn cute. So let's set this here. Well, I went into the different landscape pages that I had because I decided with this die set, I was going to make a little kissing booth. And, you have the bear here that's inside the kissing booth. You have this, I'm going to say, cute little bear that's coming to get some kisses. And, we've got a sign to hang on this booth. And I just think it's so adorable. So I thought I'm going to make this booth in a place. So I went through my landscaping, 6x6 pieces of paper, and I decided to go with one that's in Meandering Meadows. And I thought, isn't this cute? Just think, little bear going along the path with all these pretty flowers. And there's going to be the little bear of his dreams in a kissing booth, no less. So now I need to cut this the right size to be the card front. And isn't this perfect? The sky actually has, a color, if not Highland Heather. It sure blends well, but I think it is Highland Heather. And remember, our card fronts are 4 inches by 5 1/4. So what I decided to do is I wanted to make sure that I got most of this path, because that's kind of where I'm going to put the characters or the focal images on the front of my card. So I'm going to actually take an inch off each side of this 6x6. So let me just move my scoring blade out of the way. I have this at 1 inch, and I'm just going to cut that first inch off. And then I'm going to flip this the other way, and I'm going to cut another inch off the other side. And then I'm going to have my 4 inches. Okay. And then I want to make this 5 1/4. And since the path is right down here on the bottom, I'm going to take that 3/4 of an inch off the top here. All right, so now we've got our perfect card front to go on our card base. I'm just going to go ahead and glue that on here right now. So hi, Kim and Betty. Nice to see you. Joan from cold Minnesota. Boy, I'll tell you, the Midwest is going to be in a deep freeze this week. I heard actually Friday and Saturday, where I'm going to be up at Stamp Camp and probably here at home too, it's going to get down and feel like 39 below zero. So you guessed it, I'm taking long underwear to Stamp Camp. We go back and forth on this walkway that's covered between the house we stay in and the craft room that we work in. So I'll be having my Uggs on and some long underwear and, you know, my favorite sweaters and sweatshirts and just be bundled up. But I can't wait to just stay very focused on stamping. All right, so there, we've got the front of our card. I'm going to set that aside. So the next thing I needed to figure out was what paper did I want to make the little stamping booth out of. And I thought it would really be cool if I made it out of wood. So I went back into my handy dandy paper stash, and I took out, let's see, what's this called? It is In Good Taste. Now that was from 2021. But since then, we've had some wood paper sets, designer series paper, or, you know, we have large background stamps that look like hardwood. Or you could use, you know, any brown color that you wanted, or maybe white. But here I want to show you, I picked this lighter wood. And when I was looking at what I wanted to do, I could either have my wood go this way or this way. I decided to go with it up and down so that I could carry the pattern of the, you know, kissing booth here going all in the same direction. Now, I could have just had the wood stack up and it might not have, you know, matched perfectly, but it would have worked if I had gone across this as well. But good news is this was only a 2-inch piece of cardstock, or I'm sorry, designer series paper to make this booth. And let's see how long it is. Yeah, it is less than, actually, if I go up here to where my, a 4 by 2-inch piece of paper. So, wow. You know, most of the time I've got a scrap around here that measures that, right? Okay, so let me go ahead and I'm going to get out my little cut and emboss machine. I already just taped those down to save a little time. We'll move this to the side here and get out the cut and emboss machine. I actually might be taking my new large cut and emboss machine to Stamp Camp. I'm so excited. I bought it from a friend who ended up getting an electric one. So I'm pretty excited about that because I hadn't gotten that yet. Okay, I'm going to put my plates in here. I have a base plate, which is number 1. I have the cutting plate that I do all my cutting on. You can tell that's number 2. And then I'm going to put the designer series paper with the dies already in place. And then I'm going to put the other cutting plate 2 on top here. And then I'm just going to roll these through. Ooh, it's doing its job. Okay, we've got that. Let's get this out of the way. And let's make sure that they cut through all the way here. Oh, sure enough, there's the little heart that comes out of the top of that. Get my plates out of here. All right, let's just go ahead and pop these die cuts out. Just peeling these slowly so I don't rip the paper because I can still use it. Ooh, this stuff is very sticky today. All right, let me just set that off to the side and get my tape off of here. Okay, and I need my take your pick tool here to pop these die cuts out. In all corners, that helps. Okay, so we've got the base of our booth there. And then here we've got some little hearts to actually punch out. And then we've got the little dots to help get our die out of here. Now, isn't that pretty? Such nice detail. All right. Now I'm going to get my silicone mat out here so that I can glue together my kissing booth. All right. And what's really nice is it has this little piece to go over those edges when you put the top on. So I decided to use, now glue will work fine, but I really like using these little mini dots that I have for my paper pumpkin kit to put these in place. So I'm just going to just kind of watch where these are going to line up, and I'm going to just put a mini glue dot. So you could use mini glue dots too, right in place, and just take the adhesive covering off. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and just line up the ends of this with those dots. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put same mini glue dots on the edge of the countertop here in place. I need one more. Okay. Now this would be cute. We could change this in summertime and have this be a lemonade stand too. Lots of little uses for this. Do you ever see a stamp set sometimes or a bundle and go, oh yeah, that one's for me? Well, this was it for me. All right. So we've got our little kissing booth stand. So then the next thing was using the stamp set, and I stamped both of my little bears, and I just did them in Memento Black. Now, I've seen that people have used these with different color backgrounds or like very vanilla, and then they use Stampin' Blends to color them in and to shade them. I decided to go with simple today, and I didn't do that, but I think they look adorable. And this is with them stamped on crumb cake, and they do have dies to cut them out. If you didn't get the bundle, these would be very easy to fussy cut as well. And let's see, then we've got the sign. So this one was also stamped, and then there's a die to cut it out where you actually get the string cut out too. And we need to make our words to go on here. And so what I did is, you know, where I had this center cut out, I just took a piece of this wood because it was hard to see what was written on here. So I'm going to make my own placard on here, but use the background to hang this sign on here. So we're going to be stamping on that. We're also going to stamp on the inside of our card insert, and we're going to be stamping right on the front of this card as well. And I'm going to use my gorgeous grape, a little bit darker than Highland Heather, but it's definitely going to match everything. So the only ink I used today was Memento, Tuxedo Black, and Highland Heather. So let's go ahead, and I think the first thing we'll do is just stamp the inside of our card insert and get that part done. And so let's see, on the inside, we have sending lots of love your way to celebrate the special day. So, wow, this could be a really nice wedding card too. Wait till you see it completed. I'm not showing you the card because I want you to see the surprise in the end because it's just so darn cute. All right, so I'm just going to put this across the top. You know, I am going to use a little strip inside here, maybe on both sides, so I'll still center this. All right, and then I'm going to take, I think this is a pretty piece, and I'm going to actually just cut this right in half, and I'm going to mount it on each side of the card. So this is 1 inch. I'm just going to cut this to be a 1/2 inch on each side. And then I'm going to have to cut this down to 5 1/4. So I'm going to do that too. And with designer series paper, I can just line these up and they'll go through my trimmer just fine to cut that section off. And I'm going to cut it off of the top of the sky. And then I'm going to put that on both sides. There we go. So do you have a lot of Valentines that you send each year? I'll tell you, depending upon the year, and if I end up helping somebody get some done for their school Valentines, that's always when I used to do them a lot. And for my son, that was so fun. Do little treats. Now there's just a couple I send. I'm actually going to be doing an in-person event this year, and it's called Cards and Cookies. And we're going to make Valentines with enough time to get them in the mail because we're going to do the event on February 7th here in Madison. And then my friend that has a baking business is going to make Valentine cookies and have a half a dozen to be decorated so that you can give your Valentine's cookies. I'm really looking forward to this event right now. We probably have room for 12 to 20. We're still trying to figure out the exact number, but at least 12 people to come. So that's going to be awesome. So if you're around Madison or you want to come to Madison for the day, we're going to do that cookies and cards and cookies, whatever. It's the first time. We're going to actually do it 3 times this spring to kind of see if people like it. But anyway, the other ones are going to be for St. Patrick's Day and Easter. But we're going to do this first Valentine one on Saturday the 7th. And then in the afternoon, I'm going to do an in-person class in the same location. And if people stay from one event to the other, we're going to get some pizza. So that should be fun. See, just adding that little, the pieces of the landscape paper really does make a difference. Okay. So now let's do our stamping for our sign. I'm going to just get a little piece of scrap paper here and we'll get our Pierce mat. I think it'll be fine, but I'm going to put it on here anyway. And let's see, I am going to find, now these stamps are so tiny. We're going to use this one, which is hearts when we do the front of the card. But on this one, I'm going to do, I have a little XOXO we're going to do first. And so these take a real light touch when they are so tiny. Or if you push too hard, you won't be able to see the XOXO. You'll see little blobs of beautiful purple ink, but probably not what you want. So I'm just going to, not real hard even, but just push it down. And so you can see the XOXO in there. And then I'm going to, I'm going to have to clean this right away because I'm going to use this little stamp block again. This is the smallest one I have. And of course, I've lost the other one because I have 2 sets of these. So I always have to take this off because when they're this small, I really like to have the smallest block possible or I get ink that gets outside of it. Okay, so now we're going to do, these are actually 2 little lips. So we'll put them on one side and ink them up again. Put them on the other side. And we've got our little sign. Okay, and I'm going to have to use this again when I do the hearts for the top of the card. So we'll set that off. Put these on here. All right. Now I'm going to get this centered on here and see how thick. Yeah, I'm going to cut this first board off here. And I'm going to glue it on my sign in the middle, and then I'll trim off the edges. I want to make sure I don't trim off the little kiss marks here. So I'm going to go close. Oh yeah, I'm fine on this side. And let's see on this side. Just a little bit more. Okay. So we've got our little sign. All right, and now we're ready to assemble our card and do a little stamping on the front of the card. Because we have our Happy Valentine's Day. All right, so let's go ahead and put our card together. Just going to move the ink just a little bit here. Okay, so let's find out. So I want to put this along the path. And we'll have our little bear in here. And then we're going to have the bear coming along the path. And we'll get our little sign in here. Okay, let's just go ahead, get our glue out and go to town. And then we'll finish our stamping. And I decided that the big bear is going to have a little dimensionals. But I'm putting the booth and the little bear, just gluing them flat on the card front. Because this has a little dimension with that countertop, and I want that to be in front of my bear. So let's get this on here. Okay. And just a little glue on here. And I can actually tuck this little bear right in the front there. Okay. And then I'm going to also make the sign pop up with dimensionals. So let's get a couple small ones here. And I think this can be hanging just a little sideways on there. And then let's get some bigger dimensionals for our other bear. And I'm going to put some little ones by his feet. And I'm going to have him walking right down the path. Okay. And then I think he's thinking all about love. So I'm going to put some hearts right here on the cover, kind of letting us know what he's thinking. Okay. And then we're going to do our Happy Valentine's Day. Just want to make sure I've got great ink coverage here. And I like that there's white in the sky because that helps me to just stamp right on the card front. And there we have our Happy Valentine's Day. So isn't that cute? So it looks beautiful on the outside as well as the inside. So I hope that gives you just one idea of how you can use this absolutely adorable set. Before I go today, I just want to be able to update you on a couple other things that are still going on. So let me just pull these out. So if you don't have this stamp set or this bundle and you wanted it, anything over $50 purchase through Plum Crazy Stamping, you get this free 4-card tutorial. It is for boho vibes. Those are the examples, but you can use it with any suite that you would like. And I email that to you at the end of the month. Remember, bonus days are all through January. So any $50 purchase gets you automatically a $5 coupon that you can use during the month of February. So don't forget, it's a great way if you're going to order anyway to earn some extra cash to use next month. Also coming up January 22nd to the 23rd is a 2-day virtual card retreat that Stampin' Up is doing. And you order the retreat kit for $165, and then you automatically get invited to the 2-day virtual retreat where they're going to make 15 cards. So here's, an example of the cards, and you'll have the supplies for that. Plus, they'll give you a list of other things like other colors and the acrylic blocks and all those kind of things that you'll need that are not in the kit. So that is coming January 22nd and 23rd, each day, 2 to 9 o'clock Mountain Time. And then lastly, our new product of the month. If you have a $75 order, you're able to purchase the product of the month for just $5. So this month's is Fabulous Sayings. It is a stamp set with all of these sentiments. Usually a set like this would cost anywhere from $17 to $22 or $23, averaging $20. So that's a great deal. And they still do have some designer series paper from last month, and it's still available until it is sold out, and that was called True Blue Florals. So they have a value of $12 to $13.50, and you get that for $5. So those are the 2 available right now. If you have any questions or need some help ordering any of that, don't hesitate to reach out to me at Traci, Traci, at plumcrazystamping.com. So off to Stamp Camp and ready to make some very fun things for the next couple of months to share with all of you. So I hope that you stay warm. I think that even the southern states may be getting a little of this, especially in the east. So everyone take care and happy stamping. Bye-bye now.